Miter Saw antics again. Welcome back to the shop on the channel, and we're back at the chop saw, but then I warned you ahead of time in a previous video that we're going to be doing this. I'm going to put a shadow light on this saw. It's this has no laser. They offer one of those spinning laser things that goes on the blade, but that only gets you a laser on one side. But it has a cup built into the cover here. You'll see closer in a minute. That looks very much like it was going to have a light in it, or a shadow light of some kind in it. And this is not my idea. Link in the description of the inspiration. I'm using the same light that he used. And it starts with this. I get these in 2-packs from Amazon. They're little task lights, nice and bright. They're little task lights. They're magnetic bases, but I'm not going to use that base. I'll be removing the light and removing the power cord, and then mounting this in a box up here with an on-off switch. And that will turn it on. And it actually fits perfectly inside this little cup. Let me show you. Remove the guard. I'll take the blade off in a minute. This is the little socket that looks like a light, fits perfectly up inside there, which kind of does. And you turn it on, and you bring the blade down, and you get a shadow line. I'll show you that. There you go. See a shadow line? And when it's spinning, you'll get a better image of it, the shadow line. But it gives you a shadow line, so you'll know exactly what side of the blade you're on with regard to your line. So now I have one of these already taken apart, and there's the light. This is the power cord with the electronics, which is a tiny little thing wrapped in heat shrink tubing, and the on-off switch. I'll be replacing the on-off switch with a single pole, single throw on-off switch, toggle switch, which should go in this box along with the controller. In this box, it'll be fastened to the right side of the miter saw box. I'm going to be using the 24 gauge hookup wire to go from the light to the switch, and then the power cord will just go up to the top of the box where the plug is. So I use this wire because it's thin and it's very flexible. So this will get mounted into the saw with hot glue. This will be mounted along the metal guard, top metal guard of the saw blade with hot glue, and then it'll be zip tied along the power cord all the way up to the top of the box, so that it will go with the power cord and there won't be any strain on it. Oh yeah, it also involves a soldering iron, some solder, and some heat shrink tubing. So let's get busy and put this thing together and ready to be mounted. So I've mounted up the box where the switch is going to go, cover plate, which will have a hole drilled in it for the switch that's going to go here, and the wires will come over along here and back this way and be strain relieved back here, and the little control box whenever will be hot glued inside the box. I gotta take a punch out of the box and drill a hole through the wood to get the wires back through. So let me take care of that now, and then we'll start doing maybe some soldering and configuring. All right, step number 1. I'm going to attach the light with this overly long piece of wire on it up inside here. Now I've cleaned off this with acetone. I'm going to give the plastic a little wipe as well. Get anything off of that. So what I need to do is just glue this up in here, and it contacts this in the center here. But I want to make sure I get it. Put a big glob down the center here like that. Bring it up in here, and then put it in a place and make sure I've got it level. Kinda, yeah. All right, that's now curing. Now, for the next thing I want to do is put a little dab. Bring this around like this. Put a little dab here to kind of lock the wires in place there. I want to hold that like that for a little bit. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to dab it down here all the way along this guard. And the reason for that is it makes it reversible. I'm not drilling any holes in this thing. It still has a warranty. So I'm making it reversible, which is really important in something like this. And until if Bosch comes up with something that goes in here, like a laser something or other, great, I can take this out. I want to bring this up here. Give this a dab right there. All right. Hold that in place. Actually, I need to get some tape. That's holding. There we go. That'll help. And I can get all the strings out here later. So this one is going to go right here. Until that cures. And then another one. I'm going to get in the way of the camera. Let me swing the camera around. I know I rarely do this, but let's swing the camera around. See what's going on. And one more, and then it's going to start being zip tied onto the power cord itself. Now I got strings of goo. Okay, and take that and tape that one down. All right, so there we have it along here. I'm going to let that cure for a bit. Unplug the heat gun. I don't need that anymore. Get that out of the way. All right, so now I want to zip tie it along here. And a little thing I recommend, this is Harbor Freight. This is a zip tie gun. This is it's adjustable, really cool. So this allows you to do zip ties one-handed. Matching black zip ties. And it pulls the zip tie tight and it cuts it. So you got that. So I'm going to go ahead and zip this around and then I'll come back and cut them off. Quick look at the saw installation. We got hot glue, hot glue, hot glue, hot glue. This is hot glued in place. Tie wrap, tie wrap, tie wrap. And tie wraps going all the way, or zip ties, depending on where you're from, all the way up the power cord, and then it comes over to the switch box. And that is my service loop for the power cord for the light that will never be under any stress or strain. Okay, I got all the way up to here. I'm going to put a couple of loops, a couple little catches up here. It'll catch this and the power cord, which I have to run up into its home here. Oop, got to do some things first before that can happen. Power cord is up through here. This cord is going over here. I need two little catches, holders, to go here and here to hold these out of the way, and then I should be fine. And I've got, what have I got? I think these are probably too big. These things are 3/8. That's all I've got right now, so for temporaries, I'll put them up. And what these are these little wire loop things. The wire loop things. And they go in with a number 6 screw, which happens to be right here. And not too tight because these are plastic and you'll break them. I'll make this neater later. Right now I just want to get it up and running. Oops, there we go. There's one. I think I've got some better holders I can put up at a later date, and we'll see. Or I'll go down to the Borg, because the Borg has these things in stock, and that's Home Depot, by the way, or Lowe's. They're the Borg. We call them the Borg because they assimilate you. All right, so those are fine for now. The next trick, of course, is to finish here. Now this is going to have a loop behind it because I've got all this extra cord, and that's okay. I can loop that and tie it back here. This one I have to cut and then put the connector on the end of it so it connects to the thingy here and goes to the light. So let's see if I can get that done. This is going to get hot glued in place once I'm done with that. So proceeding on to cut and do some soldering over here. This should be fun. I know it kind of looks like a hodgepodge of wiring here, but everything's wired up and ready to go, and it's plugged into the lower plug. And here, you always want to test your work before you put it away. Package it all up in its packaging because you never know what you're going to find. But it came on. It's ready to go. So now I'm going to button the whole thing up, get all the things tied up and made neat, clean up, and then we'll demonstrate it. And I've got a couple of tips about working with these lights as well. First note, zero clearance insert, very easy to make. I took out the original and taped it up so it maintained the shapes, patterned it, and cut it out and put it on here. More of that wonderful leftover cherry from the previous project. So I have a piece of wood with a line on it. Hopefully you can see the line, and you turn the light on. You don't see much now, but as you bring the blade down, you get a dark line, and you can see there's bumps where the teeth are. And then you line up the workpiece with the edge of those bumps where the teeth are. I literally split the line. Maybe a little closer look at that would make more sense at this point. There, that's better. You can actually see the line now, and you can see the light comes on, and as I bring the blade down, you see the dark line showing up, and the bumps where the teeth are, and you just line up your workpiece with the bumps and the teeth, and give it a cut. And with that cut, I pretty much split the line again, close anyway. I think a little more practice, I'll know exactly where to cut it. You may have noticed that this particular system has an altitude problem, meaning that up to, it's really good up to about 6/4, maybe 8/4. We'll have to check that out. But anything above that is just a fuzzy light. That's all it is. 99.9% of what I cut on the chop saw is between 4/4 and 3/4. Rarely anything beyond that, so it's going to be fine. If I'm doing anything bigger, I'm back to using a pencil line and bringing the saw down and sneaking up on it. Now, onto the trick with the lights. This is parts of the light fixture that is in the description. The link down there. This is the flexible line, the flexible tube for it. This is the base, which had the power supply and everything in it, and the light is here. So you'll note that this has a plastic nibbins on the end of it. Well, when you cut this off, first thing you do is you cut this part off of this, and you grind it with a Dremel flush with the base. So you're missing the metal altogether, and once you do that, this pops right off. Then you can cut the wires and then grind this with the Dremel carefully and pop this off and slide the light off and get a whole bunch, about that much wire you can deal with on the light itself, which goes up over here. So This is one of many ways to do this with LEDs. You can buy an LED array and stick it in here and build a power supply for it. You can do this. I haven't seen anything that would be a laser for this yet. Maybe Bosch has got something in the works. I don't know. Maybe it's available in the European version. I have no idea. But that looks like they're going to put a light on it eventually. So I think we're done with this one. As always, make great things out of wood until next time, and upgrade your chop saw.